Hello and welcome to another tutorial for Excel users. In this part we're going to start looking at creating functions, and functions are essentially predefined or built-in calculations in Excel. And we're going to look at a few of the more common ones here to give you an idea of how easy it is to access functions and to get them working for you. The first thing I'm going to do here is add some new labels to my spreadsheet. I'm going to actually come down to cell A11, so leave a blank row between the main data worksheet area and my function area. So I'm going to add some labels here now. The first one will be total, and the second one will be average, the third one will be max, or short for maximum, the fourth one min, short for minimum, and the final one will be count. So these are the 5 functions we're going to create for our spreadsheet. So let's come to the first one then, and this one you've probably seen already in the overview. And to create the total, we're going to use the sum function, which is by far the most common function used in Excel. And it's simply a way of quickly adding up rows or columns of numbers. Now there's a few ways of creating a sum function, and I'm going to start by doing the manual version. So like any calculation in Excel, we begin with the equal sign, and then simply type the name of the function you want to use. It doesn't matter whether you type with lowercase or uppercase to create the function, but once it's completed, Excel will automatically switch it to uppercase anyway, but when you're creating it, lowercase is fine. And as I've typed the word sum there, you'll see Excel is having a guess at what I'm trying to do, and so it's offered me a list of functions. The first one happens to be the one I want, but just for now I'm going to ignore this help dialog and simply continue typing. And the next thing I need to do is type an open bracket or open parentheses. As soon as I do that, Excel obviously understands the type of function I'm doing, and again it offers me some assistance here. It's looking for the numbers that I want to include in the function. Now, to do it manually, I need to identify the beginning and end of the range of numbers I'm going to include. And it's simply that column above. So my range begins in cell B3, so I can click on that. And now to separate the beginning value from the end value, I type a colon. Now don't worry that it says B3 to B3 at the moment, because I haven't yet selected my second value. I'm now going to click on B9 to tell Excel that's where my range of numbers ends, and then to tell Excel I've finished the function, I close the bracket or close the parentheses. And that essentially is the formula or the function. So it's equals the word of the function, the name of the function, sum in this case, and then between parentheses the range of values you want to include in that function, and that basically is the beginning cell reference and the end cell reference separated by a colon. So that's our function, and to accept that I'm going to press the enter key. If I come back now to that function, we will see in the formula bar, again we see that Excel has converted the lowercase to uppercase, so SUM is now uppercase characters, and obviously the details of that function. Now if I double click on that function, you'll see something interesting. Excel will show me the range of numbers included in the function, which I can then modify if I want to by putting the mouse pointer over, say, the bottom right, and click and drag up. That reduces the number of cells included in the function, or I can click and drag down to extend the number of cells in the function. And another way of simply accepting that is to click on the tick, as you probably know, and again that just completes that calculation. So I'll do that one more time in the next cell along, in the rentals column. So it's equals sum, open parentheses, and this time instead of selecting the first and then the last, I'm actually going to click and drag down, and that effectively does the same thing as manually clicking the beginning and then the end. And you'll see that Excel automatically puts the colon in there for me as well, so all I now have to do is just close that bracket. Again, press the enter key, and there again is the result. Come across to D11, I'm going to do the final sum calculation here, and this time I'm going to use the AutoSum feature in Excel, and we'll see what happens when I click the AutoSum button. So the AutoSum you will find on the right hand side of the Home tab, and if I just click that and we come back to the spreadsheet, you'll see what's happened. Basically, when you click AutoSum, Excel has a guess about what you want to add up. Now in this case, Excel has guessed incorrectly. It's guessing that I want the cells to the left adding up, which I do not want. So again, I can simply here reselect the correct range, click on the little tick, and that will accept that formula. And we can now see the result, and again the formula bar, the function details, D3 to D9 as the range of cells included in the calculation. So that is the process of creating a function. Now I'm going to delete those three that I've just created, and I'm going to show you something a little bit more interesting. I'll leave those cells selected there and just click on that AutoSum button one more time, and let's see what happens. Hope you noticed that. Excel has correctly put the calculations in for all three cells. So with one click of the mouse, I've created three sum functions there. Do it one more time, just delete that, and this time I'll just pretend I'm somewhere else. Select the three cells that I want the result to appear in, click AutoSum, and in goes the result. Now, one minor problem here, you could argue, if I double click on that first one, you'll notice that Excel does include this blank cell at the bottom there, which may or may not be a problem. Now I can modify that if I want to by just putting the mouse pointer again in one of the corners, so I'll just move to the bottom left this time and then drag up to modify the range to exclude that blank row, and then just click on the tick. It's debatable, it doesn't really matter whether it has that blank or not, the calculation won't be affected. However, if for some reason someone's going to put some values in there that you don't want to include in a calculation, then it is important to be precise with your calculations. In fact, what I'm going to do here is just press the escape key to cancel the edit and delete the second and third sum function. Click back onto my first one, which if I double click you'll see it does include the correct range. Again, just press the escape key to cancel that edit. Put the mouse pointer over the bottom right, and this time just drag across into the next two cells, and again that completes the calculations for columns C and D. And if I double click now on C11 as it is, you'll see it's got the correct range. Press escape to cancel that, and again double click on D11. You'll see it's got the correct range there again. Press the escape key one more time. And as you will have noticed in the calculation tutorial, as I copy across, Excel automatically updates, in this case, the column letter. So it's going from B3 to C3 to D3, etc. So it automatically updates the column letter as I copy across, using a thing called relative cell referencing, which in most cases is exactly what we want to have happen. So that concludes this look at the sum function, which you should all be experts in by now. In the next tutorial, we're going to start creating the average, max, min and count functions. So thank you for watching this tutorial. Hope you found something useful there, and see you next time.